Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 23 with me, Dan, and the Slothz Tech team. We're going to Mexico today, which is a race which has pretty much never disappointed at all when we've been here before, and hopefully we'll get some interesting racing this time. Also, regulation changes coming up, aerodynamics and the powertrain. I mentioned last video that we're going to be nerfing ourselves with the traction control and the 105 difficulty. I don't think I mentioned, though, that in order to advance to Spec 3, we are going to have to buy all of the Spec 2 upgrades and all of the Spec 2 facility upgrades as well, just to drag this out as long as possible. Otherwise, you just end up with a maxed out car and winning every championship, which is a little boring. In that light, though, when it comes to the regulation changes, in order to put us back towards the midfield, we're not going to be doing any work on the power unit. We're only going to pick one when we get a choice of two, and when we get a choice of three regulation changes, we will only pick two of them. So there will always be something that we're at a disadvantage of. Of course, if we've got pretty much every upgrade by that point and we still get three regulation changes, then we'll just go with with one of them again and have two that we have to catch up in again later on. So that's the plan, and hopefully by the time we get to the end of this game cycle, we should be about season 5 or 6, depending on the rate that I put these out, and we should be at that stage definitely in contention for race wins every race, but also still developing the car, which keeps it interesting, I think, and I'm sure some of you will agree as well. Anyway, last thing for practice, picking up that energy store upgrade and off to the development screen. Now I'm going to do things slightly different. I'm going to get two upgrades here, one for front wing and one for rear wing, just to keep the car balanced, and then we're going to spend our remaining points getting these protected parts. But that's all for now. Off to the race. So then, here we are in Mexico. This will be our first full-length Grand Prix running zero traction control, and, well, there's no sprint race, so they're going to be 105 difficulty throughout. Still at this stage, I've just finished Brazil as of this morning. I'm not seeing a point where I'm going to be completing a race on 110 difficulty yet. So don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well, so you know when that video is uploaded. I'm expecting it to be somewhere between season 2 and season 3, probably slap bang in the middle of season 2 when we get some horrible races out the way. Stay tuned for that season, it's going to be horrific. On to the starting grid then, and Charles Leclerc will line up alongside Lewis Hamilton on the front row here in Mexico. No sign of Verstappen on that front row for a change. Behind them, Sergio Perez and George Russell. Carlos Sainz there is Verstappen in 6th. Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, Fernando Alonso and Jack Doohan makes his way into the top 10, followed by Lando Norris, Alex Albon, Zhou Guanyu, Oscar Piastri, Radiant Slothz, Kevin Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, Valtteri Bottas, Nico Hulkenberg, and finally it's Nick de Vries and Logan Sargent. And why are we down in the later reaches of the field? Once again, just qualifying issues, but not because of the weather this time. I just genuinely went round and did not put in a good enough lap time and could not improve, which isn't a good sign. But Jack Doohan, on the other hand, doing incredibly well in P10, and hopefully we can help him stay there by the end of the race as well. And then he'll be leaving the pointless crew at the bottom of the drivers' standings. Stay tuned for that. Right then, 5 red lights here in Mexico. P15, we have got to make up quite a lot of places, and with no traction control either, we're going to have to be extra careful. We're already on the attack here as we get past Zhou Guanyu towards turn 1, chasing down the McLarens. There's a couple of guys on our inside we're going to have to watch out for as we come into the braking zone. Hard on the brakes now, getting sandwiched between Zhou Guanyu and Oscar Piastri, but we managed to hold on there into P13 we go. Alex Albon, Fernando Alonso and Lando Norris all fighting. Albon gets a bit compromised there. We'll try and catch him down towards the second chicane. Also Piastri on the attack behind us as well. Also on the soft tyre, giving him a good advantage. Into the braking zone we go. And up the inside of Alex Albon. Rounds the second part of the chicane and into the double right-hander. Fernando Alonso looking like he might be a bit of a disadvantage here as he goes up the inside of Norris. Norris gets the position away and pushes Alonso out of the top 10 as Alonso comes across there and then he crashes into us as we approach the S's. Not been able to drive this one as well as I could on F1 22, ironically. Actually because of car performance rather than the fact that the handling model was awful in the previous game. Into the stadium section we go then. P12, we made up 3 places in this first lap. And we'll get to watch our start. Or should I say, the bad start of Zhou Guanyu. You could hear the wheels spinning up a little bit as I do my first full race start with no traction control. And didn't get away too badly, to be quite honest with you. And then down into turn 1. Everyone squeezing around. Piastri nearly wiping us out before we even hit the braking zone. And there is Albon as well. This is our teammate doing. Let's see how he got on. Actually, not a great start, but definitely better than the hard tyre of the Alpine. And also goes past Carlos Sainz as well. Down towards turn 1. I guess that's Verstappen ahead of him. And into the braking zone. Now, where's the Alpine on his right-hand side? Oh, there it is, actually. Crashing into the side of him. As Verstappen decides to be Verstappen and crash into the side of an Alpine. Good job for doing that on his first time running in the points, I think, on merit, up into P7. As we go round the outside of Fernando Alonso, now diving on the brakes on the attack here, up the inside, around the outside, and there we go, up into P11. We're approaching Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon for some points. But still a little way to go. There's a battle going on in the background with Sonoda and Magnussen. Not seen a huge amount of those guys at the bottom of the field so far this season. As we come up towards the battle between Ocon and Norris. The final points. We go up the inside of Ocon as he gets run wide onto the painted area off circuit. And Lando Norris will be ahead of us as we come down the pit straight with our first DRS zone approaching imminently. We've managed to gap Ocon there as he recovered from his runoff. And we're going to go for the move already. ERS deployed and up the inside of Lando Norris. Hard on the brakes. We're going to go around the outside here into turn 1. You can see he's still holding on to this. But we've just got the better traction there. Sliding around there with the traction control. Not being on again. And up ahead, look, Jack Doohan still ahead of Carlos Sainz on lap 3. Let's watch what happened here to Ocon. Norris up the inside. Ocon just, did something weird there. Slowed it right down and then he hit him. But managed to keep out of trouble for now. But unfortunately, the mistakes were made already. And Lando Norris will now get the DRS as we come through the stadium. And I don't know if we're quite close enough there to get DRS from Carlos Sainz. And look at that. Doohan is doing pretty well. He's in the middle of that group there. I'm not sure who's leading it, though. That's the problem. We need to see an onboard from the game to see the minimap. But here comes Norris. We're going to tuck into the slipstream. But I think this is lost cause anyway, with him having the DRS. And playing well into the hands of Fernando Alonso, who is slowly but surely approaching in the background. Esteban Ocon just dropped way off. Is all the way back there. But I think he was running hard tyres, so that might explain what's going on there. This is Doohan on lap 4. Approaching lap 5 as of now. He's getting a little bit too far back from Max Verstappen. He does have the DRS. Can he defend against Carlos Sainz down into turn 1? Everyone's still quite grouped up in front. I'm not sure where Charles Leclerc was. He seems to have disappeared off into the distance. But Doohan defends successfully. We are now under attack from Fernando Alonso as we drop back a little bit from Norris. And, there's Carlos Sainz. He's got past Jack Doohan. Alonso has got past us. and there's nothing we can do to fight it. We've got no DRS. It looks as though things are beginning to even out a little bit across the field as we pop a little drift. So there's Norris and Doohan now going down towards the chicane. Norris up the inside. Can Doohan hold on here up the inside? Doing it for the Slothz team, and no, he can't, unfortunately. He drops down to P9, but he's still in with a chance of points here, even if that hope is disappearing. Anyway, on to lap 8. He's going to have the DRS on the McLaren now. We'll get to see what our teammate is capable of in a very fast car in a straight line. Down towards turn 1 he goes. We're going to make a move on Alonso by the looks of things behind us. And up the inside we go. Round the outside of Alonso, and once again up the inside and then the outside. Exactly the same move we did earlier, and we take the position away. Doohan still chases down Norris towards the place he was overtaken, but is not able to get past. We've got green flags. Charles Leclerc is out of the session, and he's on the pit straight. That promotes Jack Doohan up to P8, us to P9, and Alonso to P10. And look at the gap behind us between Alonso and Albon. That means that Jack Doohan is in with a good chance here of scoring points if nothing goes wrong with his car. He didn't overtake Norris there, going down towards turn 1. Through the chicanes he goes for the second one up ahead. DRS zone as well, which will only help him as we try and keep Alonso behind us and get towed along as well. No moves yet from Doohan to retake P7. And into the final corner we go, chasing down Lando Norris with our teammate for the first time this season. In fact, the first time I think I've ever seen our teammate do well in Season 1, at least this well. Doohan to the right-hand side, then Norris to the left. He's got nothing to defend with, and we're going to go to the left-hand side as well. Go around the outside, and that is Formula 1 teamwork at its best. Jack Doohan going for a move, causes Norris to get out of the way and opens up a second opportunity for us that we take full advantage of and leave Norris behind. Alonso is also closed in behind. This is the replay of Doohan. Massive overspeed. He didn't even need the ERS there. Cutting to us, and round the outside we go. Excellent stuff from the two of us there. And this is how every race should be. But unfortunately, Formula 1 is a tough game, and it is every man for themselves after all. Jack Doohan is our number 2 driver. We are the team owner and the number 1, and we will be taking away P7 from him, but he's not going to be told to move out the way. He's going to fight it, and we dive up the inside and remind him who is paying him every month. Around the outside there. Nicely done. Carlos Sainz still a little way ahead of us, so now we lead the DRS train, but hopefully we can keep our teammate at the right distance to tow him along, but not let him pass us, or just pull it into the pit lane as the other option there and leave him on his own. Norris and Alonso coming as well, so there's a good chance Doohan may be undercut here. But he should still be safe from Albon, who is very, very far away. And that's new tyres on, and away we go. In fact, Albon may be coming in and could undercut as well, but it is a very large gap. Don't think it's possible. Out onto the main straight, then Zhou Guanyu up ahead of us, and we follow through the S's. Zhou Guanyu running the hard tyre. Interestingly, though, I'm not seeing much strategy with the AI in this game. They may run the hard tyre, but they're only going for a couple more laps than people that run the medium or the soft. It doesn't make any sense. Norris to the right-hand side, tries to get up the inside. We defend it and keep him behind us. But it's pretty much only going to be this opportunity here to stay ahead of him, as Zhou will be peeling into the pit lane. There he goes, and we're now left on our own. Piastri's in ahead of us, but we're going to get past him. There's Doohan approaching the pit exit. And we are very clearly past him. Norris and Alonso following on behind. We're just about keeping ahead of them as we come into the braking zone. Norris up the inside, though. Tries it, but doesn't succeed. And Doohan is now a good couple of seconds behind our train. Norris now going again to the outside. Can he get past? No, he doesn't. He slots him behind. We didn't even have to squeeze him there. And I can just see Doohan coming into picture as... yeah, there he is. As we go through the final corner, Norris will now take an opportunity. Get past this. We're going to squeeze him to the left-hand side. And he sweeps around the outside. We're going to try and hang on here. But with the DRS zone coming up, he should be powering away from us pretty easily. As we get away here, Alonso also looking for a moment to get past. Doesn't go for it, interestingly, down into this chicane. But is looking a little racy here as we come through the stadium section. We've had an alert on the radio between then and now saying that Pierre Gasly is encountering problems, and there he is. He's dropped back from Carlos Sainz and been overtaken from him by him as well. So in a few laps time, he should be easy prey for all three of us, possibly four if Doohan can catch up as well. Maybe we could battle away with these two and help him out. As we go past Norris, Alonso also try to go past. We'll go on board with him now. So he goes around the outside of Norris, now down the inside, pulling the same move that we did on him, round the outside again, and that is Alonso up to P8 as well. Slowing down the pair of them quite helpfully, which is allowing Doohan to get ever closer. He's definitely visibly closer. And we come into the stadium section with a fastest sector 1, personal best sector 2. Gasly up ahead of us as well. We might get a fastest lap here. Let's see how we do. Out of the final quarter, we do get the fastest lap of a 1:18.4, which is absolutely fantastic, considering this is my second race with the traction control off, and there's quite a lot of low-speed corners, which I would have thought would have caught me off guard here. Gasly now defends the right-hand side, does successfully place his car in a defensive position, and we chase him through. There's the snap from the curb there. Don't want to accelerate on that thing. And we're going to dive up the inside of Gasly here into the chicane. Oh, so close to touching. Give him some space round the outside, and that is the move taken. We don't spin up the wheels there. But back to where we were behind Carlos Sainz, who is a little bit closer than he was, but not close enough. Lap 17, we rejoin in the same place. Gasly is now a part of our little DRS train family. Doohan is still just outside of range, I think, as we come down towards the sea. Look at the speed of Pierre Gasly now as he tries to go past us. He successfully gets up the inside, and we'll have to try and challenge it. No, he's pushed us wide, and we'll go on to the DRS straight then and try our best to get past him again and keep him behind us this time. Onto the straight then we go. Gasly up ahead, sabotaging himself by taking away the DRS from his own car. Alonso, though, also looking racy as we go to the right-hand side. Gasly defends. We go up the outside of Pierre Gasly. Alonso follows us through. At least I think he will do. Yep, up the inside, round the outside, and that is nearly done and dusted for Alonso. Yep, there he goes, round there with the DRS. Norris also having a look now up the inside of Gasly. Gasly, how the mighty have fallen. He was doing so well in this Grand Prix, and that technical problem is pushing him further down the field. Jack Doohan is now in DRS range, but now Gasly at least will have something to defend with down the straight as we become the victim of all of this with absolutely no advantage whatsoever besides track position. And Doohan's still in the points as well, I might add, as we go defensive here, as Alonso's going to go around the outside, similar to how we'd get around cars earlier, but he hits the back of us, and that is the front wing of Fernando Alonso coming off there. Did we squeeze him a little bit too tightly? Perhaps we did, and the safety car is out for the debris on the circuit. Fernando Alonso, let's go on board here onto the curb. And I'm kind of in two minds about what happened there. I think he locked up as well. Obviously, we did squeeze him. So if he had not been in the way, I think he would have just run wide. But interesting. I think he would have actually just run off the circuit had he not hit the back of our car there. So Interesting from him. He's now not quite at the back of the field, but joins his teammate in the lower teens. Promotes us to 6th, but Jack Doohan up to 9th. Just has to be careful because now he's got Alex Albon right behind him. Green flag, and Gasly's closing in now. Up ahead, fierce battle for the lead going on between the 3 lead cars, Russell, Perez and Verstappen. Hamilton and Sainz battle side by side into turn 1, 2 and 3. And we might be able to take advantage here as we go past Lewis Hamilton as he struggles for traction. We get past the Mercedes, and now we're closing in on Carlos Sainz really rapidly. We chased him for the whole Grand Prix. We can't find a way past just yet as we come through the second chicane. And up to the double right-hander we go. We're going to go to the inside, late on the brakes as we go over the bouncy curve and somehow get past him legally without causing a massive accident. That was unbelievable and probably one of the most disgusting overtakes I've ever made. This is Sainz. Probably just about saw what we were doing at the last moment and corrected his turn-in to avoid us, and just about hangs on against Lewis Hamilton as well as he has to deal with a compromised exit. This is on board now with 2.5 laps to go. Carlos Sainz, quite rightly, is much faster than us and is right behind us and is more than likely going to get past us before we even get to the main straight. He's going to go to the outside here, hard on the brakes, and he's already passed us, which is to be expected, but we want this. We don't want it to be so easy. Norris there disappearing behind Gasly and Hamilton, then reappearing. At least if I read that right, I think no, I got that completely wrong. He got overtaken by Hamilton and then re-passed him. And you can see the gap that we've pulled already. Lewis Hamilton, another car who's been reporting problems since the restart, similar to Gasly. But here we come around the final corner. Jack Doohan onto the final lap, has to get past Hamilton here in order to secure his extra points. Goes to the right-hand side. Hamilton has nothing to defend it because he's dropped so far back from Lando Norris, who Lando Norris also held up by Hamilton, has dropped so far back from Pierre Gasly. Alex Albon up the inside as well of Hamilton, making that the second time that I can remember in history that a Williams on one of my channels has overtaken Lewis Hamilton in Mexico. The other one being me in the co-op career whilst my engine was on fire. As we come round onto the final time through the S's, Gasly still holding on there, so his issues have gone away with the restart or his pit stop. And we're closing in on Carlos Sainz towards the end of the Grand Prix. Into the stadium section we go. And Perez, incredibly, after multiple times on this channel of not being able to do it, has not binned the Grand Prix on the final lap. He takes the victory at his home Grand Prix in Mexico, and we will cross the line once again in P5, thanks to the safety car partially. But Jack Doohan becomes our first teammate to score in Season 1. It's his first points in Formula 1, and he joins us in the ranks of the point scorers on the leaderboard, which is something that I don't think we could ever forget. Jack Doohan has done fantastic, and I really hope that if we do eventually replace him, he manages to put himself in a really good team. Maybe we'll even see him at Red Bull in the future, or perhaps Ferrari or Mercedes. No changes coming up just yet, though, with the season. I've still got 2 races to go. The next one that you'll see is Brazil, but I've still got Vegas and Abu Dhabi to go. So let's see what happens at the end of the season. So here are the final results. Sergio Perez picks up the win at his home Grand Prix for the first time on this channel, followed by George Russell and Max Verstappen on the podium. Then we have Carlos Sainz, Radiant Slothz for the fastest lap, Pierre Gasly, Lando Norris, Jack Doohan, Alex Albon and Oscar Piastri. Over to the Drivers' Championship, Max Verstappen extends his lead by another 4 points over us, and Carlos Sainz It's actually just 1 point behind us now in third. Then we have Sergio Perez, Charles Leclerc, George Russell, Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, Esteban Ocon, and Lando Norris making up the top 10. Further down the order, we have Pierre Gasly, Alex Albon, Valtteri Bottas, Yuki Tsunoda, Lance Stroll, Oscar Piastri, joint 17th, Nico Hulkenberg, Joe Guan Yu, and Kevin Magnussen, and then Jack Doohan joins the point scorers in P20. Then we have Nick De Vries and Logan Sargent still with no points. Over to the Constructors' Championship, it's no surprise here that Red Bull are still in the lead, but they extend the gap up to 36 points over Ferrari, followed by Mercedes, Slothz, Alpine, who jump ahead of Aston Martin by 1 point. Then McLaren, Alfa Romeo, Williams just 1 point behind now, AlphaTauri and Haas. And that's all for this race. We'll catch you next time for Brazil.